Okay, I know you guys are all excited to get your new iPad Air and get it set up. We're going to give you a couple days to do that. So I want you to make sure that you take your time and do this correctly. And so the very first thing that you want to do with your old iPad is to make sure that you have a current backup. So I'm going to go into Settings, and in Settings I am going to go to iCloud, and I'm going to go to my backup, and I am going to see when my last backup was. And you will see mine was on August 16th. And so I haven't, let's say, done anything since that backup, so I'm good to go. However, if I want it to be a backup right now, I'm going to tap Backup Now. Your new iPad, if you restore it from the backup, will be a mirror image of your last backup. So make sure you have a current backup. Okay, so I would go ahead and tap Backup Now, and that will just take a little bit to do. And once it's backed up, then I know that I have a current backup to use. Okay, another thing I want to say, if you have something very, very important on your iPad that you don't want to take the chance of losing, maybe a photo that you can't replace, maybe some notes you've already taken in class, a project that you did last year, or the start of a portfolio from last year, you have a couple options. Those photos, anything like that you want to make sure that if there's an error with the backup, that you still have a copy, you need to make a copy somewhere else. For example, photos you could send up to Instagram or Facebook, but if you don't want to share them with others, you could send them to Google or Google Photos. You could email them to yourself. Okay? If it's a movie, a project, you could put a copy in eBackpack, put a copy in Google Drive, and make sure that you have a copy. So if it's important, make sure you send a copy to yourself in addition to the backup. Okay, so once you have a good backup, once you have copies of everything you need, then you're ready to set up your new iPad Air. Do not wipe this one out yet. We will do that after we set up the new iPad Air. Okay, now you're ready to set up your new iPad Air. First thing I want you to do is turn it over carefully. Make sure you have a label on it that matches your box number, and that you put your first and last name on there. Okay, so while you're setting up your device, at any time you can start over just by pressing the home button, and it will let you start over. So you're going to turn on your device, and you will see hello in the different languages. You will slide from left to right anywhere on the screen. Okay, now you're going to tap your country or your region, and this will affect how your information will look. So we're going to choose English and United States. Okay, and now it's going to search for what Wi-Fi's are available. If you're at school, this will be CCS Mobile. If you're doing this at home, this will be your home network. So if we're at school, we're at CCS Mobile, and that password is COZAD with a capital C 789, and you'll go ahead and join that network. Okay, and it will just take, like it says, a few minutes to activate our iPad. Now, on this screen, you're going to set up your device, and you can set your device up as a new or restore it from iCloud. If you're going to set it up as new, you will still have all of your apps. They will be in the App Store under Purchased, but none of your data will come back with them. If you want it to look like the mirror of the backup that we did at the first part of this video, then you're going to want to choose Restore from iCloud Backup. In order to do an iTunes backup, your backup would have to be on a computer. So most of you probably will do Restore from iCloud Backup. And at this point, you will enter your Apple ID information. Okay, so I put in my school Apple ID, which is what you'll want to use, and my password, and I'll go ahead and hit next. And you will want to review the terms and conditions, and then you will tap at the bottom, agree, and then the pop-up will come up, and so you can agree to that. And now what it's going to do is look and see when you have your last backup. And you will notice that my last backup was on the 16th. Now, if you get the, it's not an error, but if you get what I got right here where it says 8.4 is required, what that means is that when I backed up my iPad, I had 8.4 on it. And this iPad does not. Now, I can go through and set it up as a new, and it will, and then install the update. Then I will start all over after I've done the update, and I will come back through. So like if I try to do this latest iPad backup, I can't do it right now because I don't have 8.4. So what I'm going to do is back up and get into this iPad and do the update. If yours does not say that, then you will choose the update, your latest update, and follow your screen prompts. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to do this latest update. Okay, to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to set this up as a new iPad just so I can do the update. And I'm not even going to sign in with my Apple ID to do the update. I'm just going to skip this step. And I am not going to use an Apple ID. I'm not going to put a passcode in. And I'm going to get into my iPad. Now, I'm not signed in, but I still can go to my settings. And in settings, I can go to General. I can go to Software Update. And I can download and install this update. So I'm going to go ahead and do that at this time. Okay, once your software is up to date, then you're going to wipe out this iPad and start over, restoring it to your backup. So you will notice that my software is up to date. So I'm going to tap on General, and at the very bottom, I'm going to go to Reset, and I'm going to tell it to erase all contents and settings. And it will erase this iPad, but it has been updated. So now I can go through the setup and use my backup, even though it was for 8.4. Again, if you had not updated your iPad to 8.4, you may not have had to do this step. Okay, now that I've done the update, I'm ready to start over again. So I will swipe it on the welcome screen, choose English, choose United States, connect to the school or my home Wi-Fi. And again, the school is COZAD 789. Okay, now I'm going to try the restore from iCloud backup again, and I'm going to sign in with my Apple ID. Okay, and so I'm going to accept the terms and conditions again. And this was the step that we were on when we realized we had to do an update. And notice now I don't have that it requires 8.4 because I have 8.4 on this iPad. So I'm going to go ahead and do my latest iPad backup. and you will notice that it's asking for another Apple ID, not my school. This is my personal. So if you're a user who has a personal and a school Apple ID, you might have to put in both passwords. Now, I have seen some iPads when I am restoring from a backup that ask for multiple Apple IDs, maybe family members, friends. Every time you have had someone sign into your iPad and download a game or something, then your iPad's looking for that account. Now, this was my personal, and so I might have done it for notes or something, and so I would know that password and I would put it in. But I mean, if I had 3 or 4 different Apple IDs of friends who were signed in on here, I'm either going to have to get that password from them, or I'm going to say skip this step. Now, when you say skip this step, there may be times as your iPad is setting up and restoring that it's going to keep asking for that. And the only way to really get rid of that is either have their password or get rid of that app. So it's going to take a few minutes here to restore, and it's going to ask you a few more questions to finish the setup. While your new iPad is restoring the settings, it probably will restart. Just be patient and let it do all of these steps. Also, as it is finishing, you may have to put in your password again, and you may have to go through a couple of the same steps that you did before. If you use iMessage and FaceTime, you may have to choose which accounts you want to be active on this iPad. And then now your welcome message, and you tap ready to get started. My settings have been restored. If your battery is starting to get low or under 50, you definitely want to plug it in at this time. Now, this step's going to take a while. And you'll notice, like right here, there's apps in that folder that are loading. So you want to go ahead, just let your iPad, this is why it's probably better to do it at home if all possible, let things load on your device. You may have to enter some passwords for some of your emails or Facebook settings, stuff like that. Okay, so let that go ahead and restore. Now, if for some reason that photo didn't come over or that those notes didn't come over, you haven't wiped out your old iPad yet. So if you're patient and let this all load, you can see if you're missing something. Okay? Okay, now my iPad has fully restored, and so I'm ready to use my new iPad 2. My new iPad Air. I want to make sure I have it in a case. If not, I'm going to keep it in that box until I find a case. And now I'm going to get ready to turn in my old iPad. Now, I want to show you something, though. Before you get concerned you're running out of space, you have a backup of your old iPad. And after this new iPad backs up, you'll have a backup of that. And both of those iPads are taking space. So I'm going to show you how to look and see what all is backing up to your iCloud account, because you only get 5 gigs free. So I'm going to go into Settings, and I'm going to go to iCloud, and I'm going to look at my iCloud storage. Okay, shows how much I have, my 5 gigs free, how much I've used. I'm going to tap on Manage Storage, and you will notice that I have 3 iPads. One is this iPad, and you'll see that it says this iPad right there. It hasn't been backed up yet, so I'd want to back it up, after it restores. And I have 2 older iPads. So once this new iPad backs up, I don't need these. And some of you may have a phone, an iPod, and so forth on there, which is fine. But if you have 3 iPad backups and you only own 1 iPad, or you're only using the school's iPad, this iPad is the one you'd want to keep, and you could get rid of the others. So I could tap on that and just say delete backup, and it will delete that backup from my iCloud because it was an old one. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my old iPad. Okay, and we're going to see what we need to do to turn it in. Okay, so we got the, got the old iPad here. We're going to go to settings, and it's very important that you go to iCloud, and in iCloud, down at the bottom right-hand side, you are going to shut off Find My iPad. And you're going to shut that off for me so that your account is not activated to the old iPad. So you're going to have to put in your Apple ID password. Okay, so I put in my password, and I'm going to turn it off. And it's turning off Find My iPad, so that is off now. Now I'm ready to wipe out this iPad. So I'm going to go to General. This is my old iPad. I'm going to go to Reset, and I'm going to say Erase All Contents and Settings. If you had a passcode on your old iPad or a restriction passcode, you're going to have to put that in. Okay, and I'm going to tell it to erase this device. So I shut off Find My iPad, I erase the device, and now I'm going to take it into Mrs. Rossell, which her office is outside Mr. Flavinger's, and I'm going to take her my old iPad, charger, and my case. Now, your new iPad comes with a new iPad charger. It is the Lightning charger, so it is different. We do not have any spares of those. We got just the amount of chargers and USB cables as of how many iPads we ordered. So you need to be responsible with that. Hang on to it because I do not have any spares. Okay, as you're doing this, please try to have this done over the weekend and turn your old iPad charger and case in on Monday. If you need help, make sure you come see myself or Mrs. Russell on Monday, and we will help you. Have a great day.